I would like to take about 20 to 25 minutes and talk about the nature of pornography addiction, what it is. It's hard to fight an enemy if we really don't understand what we're dealing with. And so tonight, let's spend a few moments and talk about the science. I may skip some of these slides because I would like to spend at least half of the time talking about healing and about hope and recovery. But I think it's important for us to spend a few moments and talk about what we're dealing with. And so you might wonder why we have a waterfall on the screen. Well, let me tell you a story, and some of you may have heard this. If you've read the book, you've read the story, but I'd like you to hear it from me. We were in Africa a few years ago. I had served a mission there and had marvelous experience of visiting some we had taught when I was a missionary. And just had some beautiful experiences with them. But while there, we also took opportunity to visit Victoria Falls and to participate in a safari. And it was wonderful. The Victoria Falls is, some say, the largest waterfall in the world in terms of volume, in terms of the amount of water going over the falls. And we flew to a safari camp in these little bush planes, landed in the middle of nowhere on these little dirt strips. They had to circle them once to make sure the elephants weren't on the strip. And then we land, and these Land Rovers pick us up and drive us to the safari camp in the middle of nowhere, right on the Zambezi-Zimbabwean border on the Zambezi River, the Zimbabwe-Zambian border on the Zambezi River. A lot of Z's. And so we're there in this camp, and we're right on the water. And we took these pictures. I took the falls from the plane. I took this from our camp there, and this hippo it was right out in the water, and there were a crocodile about every 30 yards. And so the ranger said, be very careful. I know it's pretty. I know you're excited to be here, but there's dangers. You have to be careful, particularly around the water. So we were careful and cautious about getting around the water. And then he pointed to this grass that you see over here, and he called this adrenaline grass. And so I'm asking him, well, why do you call it adrenaline grass? Okay, what's that about? So this grass over on the side, this grew on both banks, so this adrenaline grass is on our side as well. So we're in open-air Land Rovers with no doors and no windows, and he starts driving through the grass, and here we go, and we're looking for game, of course, and he says, whoa, do you see it? And we said, see what? And he's driving closer and closer and slow, and so look right at that dark area. Suddenly, there it was. It was hiding right, and going back, there it is. It's hiding. In fact, his paw is sitting about there. His face is right there. His other paws are there. So now he's sitting there by the river watching the water. And believe me, he is watching that water. You can tell. Of course, he was kind of watching me taking the picture right then. And so as my heart began to thump through my chest, I looked at the ranger and said, okay, I get it. Adrenaline grass. Right. So that's why we call it that. And so several object lessons there. One, yes, it's a brain drug in the sense that adrenaline was produced by my brain. So there are brain drugs. My brain is a really efficient chemical factory. It made adrenaline right on the spot, produced it, put it into my bloodstream, systemic effect, my heart's pounding in my chest, and I'm ready to run. Wouldn't do much good, of course, if I did. In fact, the lion would like that. Cat and mouse, it would make it a little more interesting probably. But, so what's this adrenaline? I thought it was a drug. I thought to find adrenaline, we have to go to a hospital crash cart as a physician. But we can make it in the brain. So which one, is it a drug if we buy it at the drugstore, if the pharmacy gives it to us, if we take it off the crash cart at the hospital, or is it a drug if our brain makes it? Of course, both. It's the same thing. It's the same chemical. It's a drug either way. Also, just to interject Peter's statement here, to extend the metaphor, 1 Peter, be sober, he said, be vigilant. Great words for recovery. For your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. That's what pornography does. It strangles. Lions kill by strangling. And that's how pornography kills. As President Hinckley said in his talk on pornography, it strangles the life out of relationships.